Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at my best team. The best team was for the current Spring Cup. The Spring Cup is quite interesting. I made a top team video as well, and this team was in that top team video. And we really want to try it out because it looked like a fantastic team to run for this meta. We're going to have here a double Toga team. We're going to have the FERROTHORN Elite, which is kind of necessary. I had as an option as well Tentacruel. I think that FERROTHORN is quite a bit stronger compared to the Tentacruel. But with FERROTHORN here, we're going to have a very solid answer to, for example, something like Empoleon. But as you see mostly from the title as well, and yeah, maybe also from the thumbnail, I haven't done that one yet. I went 15-0 with this team. I have not lost with this team yet. This team was fantastic. I have literally not lost with it. It's so strong. It is absolutely broken. It's a team that I would really recommend you give a try. It's very annoying to play against, I would say. If I was the opponent, I wouldn't want to play against this team. But yeah, we're going to have here basically Togetic, which is one of the Pokemon, like the Pokemon that I kind of wanted to mainly build around it, because I saw the potential of Togetic in this meta. With the Charge Move combination of Psyshock as well as Heat Wave, you're basically able to beat everything in this meta because they're all weak to those two types. Practically. Like, the only Pokemon that I don't really think is weak to it is Empoleon. Empoleon is kind of more the difficult Pokemon for this team. That's why we need the FERROTHORN in the lead in order to deal with this Pokemon a little bit better. But here we're going to have the Quaquaval in the lead, which is actually quite awkward because Quaquaval got access to, or like has access to Wing Attack, which is making this Pokemon quite a bit stronger. But here we're going to be able to get a shield advantage against the opponent, but I'm not only going to take this one, I'm going to use a shield against the opponent as well, which now will allow me to get another Aura Sphere off against them. This should be enough to knock them out easily, and so we have alignment. And I want to have alignment because I'm fairly certain that I can play against the Quaquaval. I know that they got 4 False Wind, which means they need 1 more to get to another Charge Move, and I can catch the Charge Move from the opponent here onto my FERROTHORN. It was a close combat. I would have been down now, but it's at the Hydro Cannon resisted hit. They have their own FERROTHORN in the back. I can go for the Flash Cannon, which is the ideal move here to have. I think that's the hardest hitting damage as well that you can go for against the opponent's FERROTHORN. And now we are going to try our best here to win this matchup. But what we're going to see as well is going to swap out straight away, and I know that if they have Flash Cannon, they're not going to get to it. If they have Thunder, they might get to it, but Thunder is never going to be enough to knock out a Togetic, which is a very bulky Pokemon. And this is the reason why Heat Wave is so important on this Pokemon. It's the FERROTHORN matchup mainly, where you're going to be able to one-shot this Pokemon. And FERROTHORN is the most common Pokemon in this meta. And if you face someone in the lead, I would recommend you to swap out straight away, because you have so much pressure with your backline. You're going to always outspeed them with your Togekiss, and you're going to have access, of course, to the Aura Sphere, which is super effective. But then you're going to have also, if they sub out or whatever, still your other Pokemon in the back, Togetic, which has a Heat Wave. It's too much Toga for me right now. But yeah, here in comes the King Drop. Perfect ends, of course, against the Fairy-type Pokemon. You know it. That is definitely my first choice as well. And we can just go for the full farm down, leaving here with an Aura Sphere stored, which we can fire off immediately up against here the opponent's Empoleon, which is perfect for us, getting a ton of damage in. And now we have the FERROTHORN against them, and we can take those hits. Like, we are in a perfect position for ourselves. As we still have our Toga in the back, we should be in a very good position here, where we should not really have any issues at all. They use a shield, which I'm fine with, because I don't need my FERROTHORN. I can let this move go. I can even swap out straight away now into my Toga to try to farm them down. But yeah, I'm going to do exactly this. We're going to see this swap out into their own FERROTHORN, which is fine by me, as I have the Heat Wave here. I know I'm going to be fine. I know that I'm going to be able to outspeed them so easily with my Togetic. This Pokemon has such better pacing compared to the FERROTHORN. It is crazy. And as you're going to see, the shield is coming up. We're going to be able to shield up the opponent's move, and we should be able to also now go ahead and get the KO with a Heat Wave, or just forfeit. So, next up, we're going to have the Tentacruel against an Elite. This is exactly where we want to see this Pokemon, but even then, if we swap out in one of our other Pokemon, we still have Psyshock in order to deal with this thing. So, like, it's not going to be a bad matchup at all. Payback is coming through here, doing some solid damage against us, but as we will see here as well, here a Power Whip is going to connect against a Amoonguss, of course. It's going to be okay, but it has access to Sludge Bomb, so we have to be a bit aware of that. And so we gotta shield up the move here. I knew a Psyshock would have not done enough damage from that range yet. Now it's absolutely gonna do enough damage. We have a ton of energy here for the next matchup as well. And then comes, of course, the Tentacruel again. But now we have the Psyshock damage up against them, and that is going to be perfect. Psyshock is going to connect, doing a ton of damage. They have Poison Sting, so they don't even have a lot of fast move pressure with their fast move either, forcing them to go for another charge move against us as well. And we can let this move go through here. We're going to still have the Ferrothorn, which is going to be able to reach another move, but they all stop out into their final Pokemon, Cacturn, which is going to get hardwalled by our Togetic. And this is why Togetic is so fantastic now, especially with the new move update there towards Heat Wave on this Pokemon. As now it's going to have coverage against those grass types. It's going to be able to destroy them, generally speaking, with any kind of without any kind of issues here. As the Heat Wave is going to connect, knock them out here, and if they're going to go back into their Tentacruel, we still have the Psyshock, and they're gonna go down as well. Again, that Togetic is so overpowered in the current Spring Cup meta. Like, this team is so amazing. Well, let's take a look here at the next opponent. Empoleon in the lead. What do we do here? We're going to be able to stay in. We can go for the Power Whip against the opponent as well. And in comes here the Droll Pack first, and they swap out into their Amoonguss. I, this time around, go for a Charge Move, because my goal is actually to get them into farm down range for my Togetic. And actually, I did a little bit too much damage here for myself, basically, because I would like to get a ton of energy here. Actually, shield up the Foul Play. It wasn't even a Sludge Bomb, but I want to get up to the position where I can knock out the opponent's Empoleon here without a problem with our Togekiss. And while I got a little bit of an energy advantage, I'm not too sure if this was actually enough, because I didn't really count on how much energy they had prior. And they're gonna get to a move here, which means it wasn't enough. They will be able to win this matchup, and this is going to be very much problematic for myself unless they're gonna let the move go through here. We're going to be in a very tough spot here for ourselves. And they're going to shield up and start stop outs right away. I should be able to still take a hit here from the opponent, but I really need to land a charge move against the opponent here as well. The Drill Pick comes through, and we get the Power Whip off against them, which kind of makes me hopeful for this game, because they're gonna be super low now, and they're going to have the Kingdra in the back. This is perfect, because what we have is two Fairy-type Pokemon. Togetic is up against it. We can resist the fast move twice, but of course Swift is still going to chunk. But we have Psyshock now against the opponent as well. It's going to be a CMP tie, it looks like. The Swift is coming through, doing some massive damage, and we're going to be able to go for a Psyshock now. Let's see how much damage it's going to do. It is going to be able to get them super low. We can go for the full farm down. They're going to go into their Empoleon. We can knock them out with the Heat Wave, and with this, we're going to be easily able to win this battle here, as they're going to go down with their Kingdra. Ferrothorn against Empoleon, and we see kind of similar teams here the entire time, and Venusaur comes in as I can stop out into the Togekiss. Togekiss has access, of course, to the fast move of Peck, which puts them into the Psyshock range. The issue is we are still going to be a bit behind the opponent, and as long, if we're gonna be able to farm them down here with a fast move, it would be amazing. But the opponent actually gonna let the move go, which is so weird to me, because it makes no sense. They're also running Metal Claw, which makes even less sense. And I'm not even it's the thing as well. I didn't do all my battles yet, but I'm not in a bad Elo range or anything like this. At least like my hidden Elo range, because I have a really good win rate so far this season. I don't know what is going really on here. Like, I honestly have no idea what is going on. Why we have Metal Claw there on them. I have a win rate around like 70% currently still, so like I'm kind of happy with it, with like 150 battles played. So like, yeah, I'm not in the worst spot at all. I win most of my battles still, of course, and I don't know why we encounter Metal Claw. Maybe it's a mistake, because Metal Claw is just a worse version of Metal Sound. There's no benefit of having Metal Claw as far as I know. I always thought it does more damage, but apparently it doesn't. It's the same damage, but less energy generation, so not too sure on why people would do that. Psyshock here going to knock them out. In comes the Togekiss. Okay, we're actually in a really bad position, I'm just realizing, because they're going to do some solid damage against us. And Heat Wave, of course, is going to be a a neutral hit here, instead of super effective, thanks to the water typing on the Empoleon. The Heat Wave coming through, doing some solid damage, and we can still reach another one. They make a mistake here, they didn't go for a charge move, and like this, we can knock them out. Again, yeah, Togetic is the MVP actually in most of the battles so far. And if you haven't seen enough Empoleon in the lead, we're going to have another one with another different fast move. Waterfall. I actually seen this quite often. I actually have to say that as well. I did do some more battles, some in the Ultra League, some in this cup as well. I did have quite a bit of issues with the game again. I had quite a bit of issues with like quote-unquote lag. which is kind of unfortunate. Like, I don't know, like it's such an unfortunate thing that we had like the recent change to PvP that then they had to revert back because it's so bad that it didn't work out whatsoever. And now we're going to have basically a completely broken system still. It's just not really nice. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's happening there. I hope that PvP is going to get fixed in the future. I hope that things are going to look a bit better in the future. But right now, I felt the game was quite clunky today. But let me know down below in the comment section how you felt like the game was today for you. Would be interesting, as we will have here the Togetic going for the Heat Wave, getting the shield from the opponent's Empoleon, and I'm kind of forced to go into my... Oh, here, this is actually one of the games where I was like, okay, that's a bit annoying. They went for a fast move, I went for a fast move, we both went for the charge move. This should have never happened. I should have got the Power Whip off against them before they would have got this charge move off. And this is so unfortunate because this can like completely flip the game. I should have knocked them out here before they got their charge move off, and we see in the back there's going to be with the Wall Rain. And I was like, okay, I'm going to lose the battle now. But luckily, I am able to get the shield here, which makes sense because I didn't know what they have in the back. And the Aura Sphere is actually doing enough damage to knock them out, which I didn't expect at all. But yeah, this could have been so much easier if the game was just worked the way it's supposed to work. Luckily, it's going to be Charm Ninetales. I think Powder Snow Ninetales actually is very, very good in this meta. But they swap out here into the Klefki and I get some damage in against them. But then again, I was like thinking, I actually have very solid answers in the back. I didn't really need the damage at all. And here I have lost the CMP tie against them as well, which is kind of unfortunate. But it's going to be just a foul play. I can go for a bit of an undercharge maybe. And maybe get some energy afterwards. Let's see, Heat Wave. Oh, it's going to knock them out anyway. Doesn't really matter. In comes Dugong. Okay, I would have rather had my other Pokemon in there against it. But we take it. It's okay. Like, of course, it makes more sense to have Klefki up against... Oh, okay, I can swap out here still. The reason why I can swap out is because I have two Pokemon with a better coverage in the back against Dugong. They're very likely going to swap out here very soon, which they do now, into the Ninetales to catch a Power Whip. But I'm alright with that. I'm alright with it. I don't need anything else to. I can just let this move go here. I don't even need my Ferrothorn, even though Ferrothorn is my best answer. And the reason is because I get a ton of energy here now, even if they're going to get to a charge move, which they do. I don't care. I have a shield for that. And I have Aura Spheres for that Dugong. And if Dugong is going to debuff me before I can get my second Aura Sphere off, I can just swap out into my Togetic, clear the debuff, and see where we go from there. And here we see it. The Icy Wind is coming in. We're going to shield this move up. And we're going to be able to go for another fast move, store the energy, swap out, go for even here the Heat Wave, which is going to do a little bit more damage. I think that's 5 more damage compared to Psyshock. Psyshock is more energy efficient though, I think, as far as I know. But if I get only to 1, I go for the higher damage. As now, Aura Sphere easily is going to be able to knock them out. And Togetic combination is so broken right now. And I love that they function really differently. Like, we have one that runs Peck as a fast move, one that runs Fairywind as a fast move. Psyshock is the only thing that's kind of equal for them, but they have two different type of coverage against the Steel typing as well, in Heat Wave as well as the Aura Sphere. So, like, both of them work quite well together. And here we're actually going to see a Weezing in the lead, which is actually one of the most difficult Pokemon to deal with for this team, generally speaking. So, like, this is a matchup that they maybe want to study a little bit more. I usually just try to hope that they go for the Overheat early in the beginning, try to get the shield back then from them as well, and then swap out, because if they're debuffed by the Overheat, the Sludge is not going to knock out your backline. And that is like the main thing where you kind of need to focus towards, I feel like. You need to kind of focus towards trying to get the opponent's, Pokemon there debuffed. That is the best way of dealing with it. And here, we're going to get the Icy Wind against us. I don't really care too much. They're going to swap out into the Weezing. They're locked into this Pokemon. And this is CMP type. I shield this. I have now the option to just one-shot them most likely with this move. Flash Can, super effective damage. Stab damage, yes, we debuff, but yes, it's going to be enough to knock them out. And now in comes here, whatever. I'm going to swap out straight away. If it's Dugong, it's Dugong. It's going to be the Gaston. I don't actually have to swap out. I can go for the Power Whip, knock them out, and win the battle. It's honestly simple as that. I didn't even need my final Pokemon, which is kind of funny, so they never saw my Togetic. Okay, Victory Bell. What do you do here? You generally have a good lead matchup. Like, you're going to be able to resist all the damage there. So they swap out of here. They swap out into the Gourgeist. And against Gourgeist, you want to go into your Peck user. While yes, you have Heat Wave on the other Pokemon, which is super effective, which is going to be fine as well. Like, both of them are kind of totally okay. I like the Peck damage more because you're going to end up with more energy usually. And you have the option to just farm them down to 2 shields. So just generally speaking, it makes more sense to go into Togekiss over Togetic here, just because the fast move damage is a bit better. And as you're gonna see here, I'm going to be able to go for 2 Psyshocks against the opponent as well, which is now forcing both of the shields from the opponent. They are down to 0 shields, a Pokemon that's getting walled by my lead, and whatever they have in the back. And like this is of course not a good scenario for them. We are close to knocking out that victory bell as well. I just need to go for one Flash Cannon, and I'm going to be fine. Leaf Blade comes through, Flash Cannon comes in. This is going to knock them out here as well. And we are going to be in a perfect position where we can now see what they have in the back. I only have to swap out here. We're going to have the Jellicent, and now I could even catch the move. It doesn't really matter what I'm going to do because I won this battle anyway. I'm going to swap out of here. I can see how much damage maybe a Shadow Ball does to me. Just for science, let's see. Yeah, not actually that much either. Like it does a little bit more than half, but it's like one of the strongest moves in the game right now. So I'm happy with that. And we can move on to the next opponent. Ferrothorn against Ferrothorn again, we swap out straight away. We have good answers in the back. They're going to go into their Steel Wing. Steel Wing does more damage than Metal Claw, and the other move, what's called the Metal Sound. Like Steel Wing has at least something different. Well, Metal Claw is basically just a worse version of Metal Sound. Here we're going to see that they can farm us all the way down because of literally the change to the Steel Wing, because Steel Wing does quite do a little bit more damage compared to Metal Sound and Metal Claw. Otherwise I would have not been able to farm me down like this. So like there was benefit from them, but now they are in a position where they have Ferrothorn, which I destroy with my other Pokemon. They have Tentacruel, which I destroy with the Pokemon that's currently on screen. I'm not in a bad position. Like I'm really not in a bad position. The Empoleon though would have been great if it would have been a little bit lower still. But it is what it is. Power-Up comes in here. I still have a shield left. I can sacrifice myself here. Yeah. And just gonna try to win with Togetic. Oh, actually can still survive this. That's kind of great. Let's hop onto the Ferrothorn. And I can go for the Heat Wave. Heat Wave is very likely not going to be enough to knock them out. But it's going to be enough to most likely put them into farm down range. Okay, that might just barely not be farm down range. No, it is going to be the farm down range. I think I don't have to do anything else here. The Flash Gun comes through, so I know I can go for the full... Okay, I go for the Side Shock. Play it safe. I don't really want to get hit by another charge move here, because I should have enough HP to survive any charge move from the Empoleon still, which is something that I need to kind of consider as well. If I didn't do that, I would have been in a big problem there. But as you see as well, we still have the Power Whip, which you're going to be able to land now against the Empoleon, doing a ton of damage, not knocking them out, but they have 1 HP on 2 of their Pokemon. I can farm them down here and have a charge move for the Empoleon stored. And again, I went 15-0 with this team. It's fantastic. I haven't lost with the team at all. Yeah, definitely give it a try. Best team for this cup.